So you already knew stuff about politics?
No,
for you to get in?
no.
You just heard about this by-election?
No, yes.
Oh, wow.
Make a decision and then go in and figure it out.
This looks interesting. I'm going to get in it. Hi everybody and welcome back to our Rise and Shine show. It's Limited here.
Jennifer 𝐂𝐄.
Jackie Ashley.
And today we have a special guest. Her name is Dai. She's a very good friend of mine. Now she has so many titles up her sleeve or on top of her head, whatever that hat is. What's that saying? You wear a lot of hats.
Yes.
So she's been a journalist. She's a filmmaker. She's a cancer survivor. She's a what else have I said? A mom, of course.
Politician.
To a beautiful kid. But finally, she's a politician as well. And in today's episode, we want to talk about gender inequality in leadership roles. So that's why we decided to bring her along. So welcome, Dai. Hi, Dai.
Oh my God.
So good to have you.
Yeah.
And I love how we're so colourful, you know.
I know.
Bold colours, yeah, we love it.
So Dai, we wanted to invite you here because I think you are the perfect person to talk about gender inequality, because I kind of actually never experienced that when I was going through corporates and professional life, but you have, and we'd love to hear your story on that.
Yeah, look, gender inequality or gender representation or diversity in representation is something, especially in the leadership roles, is something that I've been very passionate about, and I've been driving that conversation and that whole representation for over a decade now. And it's something that I live and breathe, really. It's wanting to really see more diversity of representations, especially at the leadership level across our mainstream institutions, be it in the political arena, be it in the corporate world, be it in decision making, especially decision making and influential positions in society. If you look at it, really, the majority of those leadership roles are predominantly held by men, and you know, Anglo-Celtic or Anglo-Saxon, whatever it is, predominantly white males. Now, it's not, it's a fact, so I'm not kind of saying, oh, it's bad or good. It's just that's the fact at the moment in our society. And so how do we ensure that there's going to be that shift in that leadership dial in the future? And to do that, actually, we have to have the continuous conversations to encourage people of diverse backgrounds to really step up into leadership roles as well.
Well, take us back to why did you decide to get into politics or into a space that is dominated by men, white and male. It's difficult.
Yes. Look, it's really, people have asked me, why did you get into politics? And I've often said, well, I don't know how. I stumbled into politics. It wasn't something that you sat there and you planned. You said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to achieve, right? So this is about in 2008, around 2005, 2008, I was looking, I had spent 2 decades as a storyteller, as a journalist, as a filmmaker, working for the Australian Broadcasting Corporation. And I thought, I got to this junction in my life where I asked, where can I make a bigger difference? Because I thought I was making a huge difference being in that reporting, storytelling world, right? But I thought, no, maybe there's something else for me. And by chance, in 2008, there was a by-election in the state seat of Cabramatta. For those who don't know where Cabramatta is, it's one of the great, very diverse little, you know...
It's known like a Vietnamese town, just like Chinatown, and there's a Vietnamese town.
It's called used to be a Vietnamata, but in actual fact...
Oh, Vietnamata! I've never heard of that.
But in actual fact, Cabramatta is actually quite diverse. About 14 or 15 percentage of the population are of Vietnamese, and then another 14% of the population are of Chinese backgrounds, and then the majority are actually quite diverse. Those who were born there, Australians, white Australians are there as well, and we have a large population of Assyrian Australians, Italian Australians, all those European migrants.
So quite multicultural.
Very multicultural, because Cabramatta had a hostel close by where different waves of migrants and refugees have settled. So you see a lot of movements through that whole area. So I ran, so that state seat, as you call it.
So you already knew stuff about politics?
No,
for you to get in?
no.
You just heard about this by-election?
No, yes.
Oh, wow.
Make a decision and then go in and figure it out.
This looks interesting. I'm going to get in it.
I had no idea, guys, about politics. I didn't know much about political campaigning. I did not have the network that I do today, but I had no one because I spent 2 decades as a journalist. So you're in that what they call the creative world, you have a different kind of network, right? In the political world, it's a different network, so different groups of people. So I actually had no connection other than me reporting on politicians as a journalist. You know, you go and interview politicians, you sit in council meetings. Other than that, no. So in 2008, I thought, well, it's just by chance that we were shopping in Cabramatta, and I told this story with my husband, and then as I was walking through this arcade buying some food, and there's this one stall holder who actually, I would have to say, it's the conversation with her that actually prompted me to think what I should do.
Wow.
She then complained, she goes, oh my God, you know, every year, every time we vote and elect this woman, at that stage there was a woman who was the member of parliament for the state seat of Cabramatta. Her name is Reba Ma, and she's a Labor Party member. And she said, you know, we voted for her like every time, and that area had been a very safe Labor seat. Now, if for people who don't understand politics, certain areas are very safe Labor or safe Liberal. Very few that is in the middle, which is independent or Australia has 2 major parties, Labor and Liberal. In recent years, there's been more independents and other minor parties coming up, but for decades, it's always been that. So this was a safe Labor seat, which means, and it was the second safest Labor seat in the whole country.
Wow.
Of Australia.
So it's that of a stronghold.
It's a stronghold. No, they used to say that you can put a donkey in there and they'll be voting Labor.
Wow.
That's right.
Okay.
Right?
That's a bit screwed there.
So what happened next then?
So
I
I thought, well, this woman said, and I thought, and then my husband said to me, because I was still working then as a journalist, he goes, you know how you're looking for something else to do.
Why do you be in opposition?
Why do you think about representing, being a voice for your community?
That's
Oh
beautiful.
my God. Wow. And your husband.
That's
encourage,
Oh my
right?
goodness.
And I thought, me in politics, like I talk a lot, I'm always out there, and in politics you find that politicians will say something but they don't mean it.
Yeah.
Or they will just say it and not carry on,
Yes.
you know, deliver, right?
Yes.
So I thought, I didn't want to be known, and I thought, hang on, but I can actually
Bit different.
be different.
Yeah.
Change the whole perspective around
Yep.
politicians or elected, you call them elected representative. So I said, oh my God, I thought, okay, shut the committee of voices in my head.
Yes.
We all have a committee.
Yeah,
I said, all right, let's give it a go.
Okay, but sorry, Dai, I'm going to interrupt you there. Knowing that what you do now, looking back, knowing what you do know now, would have hesitant if you know that this is the journey? Because a lot, you know what I mean? Because you coming in saying, I don't really know much. Yeah.
It's a good thing when you don't know because
Exactly.
you just throw yourself out there.
When you don't
And you
know,
just experience it, right?
but there are people who said, we don't know how it's going to turn out, so we're not going to give it a go.
Correct.
Ah,
right?
yeah,
so that's
yeah.
where
Your
Either way,
mindset
it's-
around that is different.
That's right. So my mindset was that I didn't know anything, I'm going to give it a go.
Yeah.
If I was to look back now, knowing what I now know,
Yes.
the whole political environment, it's not a very safe environment, especially for women, in a sense that's safe in terms of mental health and well-being, safe in terms of nurturing and supportive. If I know, and I know that it's not that supportive, would I do it again? That's a hard question because
Now that you've seen the pain and
you
the
don't
challenge,
know
the struggle.
you don't know it yet, so you can't really, you know.
But now you're in it. You're not giving up. You're going through
Well,
all the
exactly.
way.
And this is what inspires you even more, right?
That's
all
right.
the inequalities and all the issues that need to be dealt with or resolved, and you know.
It is. So because seeing the lack of representation, especially women, and especially women of colour, as I call them.
Yes.
I agree.
Or people of colour.
Yep.
So if you look at our, I did some calculations, numbers.
Yes,
Jen, who
yes.
knows numbers? So we've got a population of 25 million in Australia, but the elected representatives at state and federal, there are about 780 elected members representative across Australia for this 25 million population. So you think, is that really equal representation? But predominantly in that 790
People there.
How many
they're
are?
about women, about probably, you know, a handful of them. And
And then
What's
coloured
the
woman
percentage?
is like what?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
The only-
in terms of age,
Oh,
the age you put
and
it
Penny
at-
Wong.
There's Bennett Wong in the Labor Party. Look, I think women have increased representation in the last probably couple of years. At the local government level, where I'm now elected for Fairfield City Council, one of the most multicultural city councils in Australia, I believe. Other councils probably disagree with me, but that's all right. There are a few more Asian Australian women representations across local government, which is great. At state level, I don't think we have any in New South Wales.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, so overall, very limited numbers.
Yes.
Now, what do you think is the reason? Is it because there's lack of opportunity, or people or women aren't just, or even women of colour are brave enough to do it, or what do you think?
Or
is
the
the factor?
perception of the role itself.
I don't know, or was it the rules and regulations that is designed to not really support women? Because sometimes some areas are designed by men for men. So what do you think?
Yeah.
Look, I think predominantly our mainstream institutions are designed by men for men. So therefore that change in women representation or others is going to take a bit of time. But I think they're both opportunities not there, but they're also the other side of the coin is that people who are in particular of Asian backgrounds don't see the value in being part
Of a bigger.
of the political process.
Yes.
Because first of all, as you all know, Asians predominantly think about money. Right? Is it?
And this
being
is
paid
kind of
a lot?
public service.
Yeah, it's a public
Rather than-
service.
yeah.
That's right.
But also English is their second language as well. Sometimes I think, sometimes, I don't know. I mean, that's just one
Well,
thing.
that's the language barrier, but those who are born here have observed the political kind of machinations and feel like, I don't want to play games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is,
I can't make money. What can I do?
I can't make money.
It's too much mess to fix.
Yeah.
And it's too hard work
Exactly.
for such little
That's
effort.
right. It's a
Yeah.
little effort. You don't make money. You're not going to be prosperous at being part of that.
Yeah.
It is actually an act of service.
Yes.
So being in politics is not about making money. Yes, some politicians use their position of power and kind of, and there have been many stories about corruptions in terms of those politicians being elected and using their position to make money, right? But I think it's an act of service. It's about what you can do to improve the community, to represent your community. To me, politics is about people, but it has moved away so much from about people. It's about money, or it's about power. And I think that's where the political, not just probably Australia, but globally, where we have moved to is about power. And I think if we go back
So
to
is that why men are more attracted to that field? Because
I
it
think
gives
so.
them that,
It gives them
whereas
power.
women are not as interested in that as much.
So what do you think needs to happen for changes?
Yeah, to bring the balance back a little bit.
Oh my God.
Where do you start?
Where do you start?
I mean, even something small. Like, what is it that needs to happen for things to change?
There are times in the last 8 years being an elected councillor, I have asked myself, is this worth it? The personal sacrifice in terms of having to attend meetings, having to go to events, having to go networking, all of that, is it worth it because you've got a family to look after, right? And it is it's a balancing act, because you think, as a woman, for me in particular, as an Asian woman, I care for my family. I love my family. So I've got to be there, go home and cook and do the dishes and clean up and all that stuff. But I thought, I can't give up now, because I'm now, I'd say halfway in that journey, learning so much. And I thought, with all that knowledge, what I want to do is encourage other young women, or if not women, at least young men of colour, of Asian background, to say, step in and I will guide you. So the aim now is to find those that I can nurture to educate, because I can pass on the knowledge that I've learned in 10 years. And you know what? I am still learning. You can never stop learning in this space, because there's always challenges. And so for me, the challenge is to ensure that conversation, to encourage
To start it, and continue it, to have that education, but be also aware of the current issues and not just, I think it is, isn't it? Bringing up the awareness.
That's right, and making sure, and telling people it is a very hard road. I'm not saying it's an easy road. However, there are so many.
You can make big impact.
Absolutely. Can I have to say, like, for instance, when I stepped in politics 10 years ago, or just over 10 years ago, the community had asked for I know it's very small, but a car park. And guess what? In my lobbying, the community finally got a car park.
And those things,
make a difference.
It's little. It might sound little compared to other things, but it's actually big for the community.
Exactly. So I thought, do you know what? Oh, sorry, didn't mean to swear, but bleep it out. Bleep it out. But I think that those small, Confucius saying is that the journey of 1,000 miles begin with one small step.
Yeah.
And I think I took that one small step. And I just want to encourage others to think it is challenging, but the reward of actually seeing the fruit of the work and that people are getting the resources and getting the services they need is so rewarding. Look, they're not going to, when somebody said to me, one politician said to me, you know what, Dai, when you die, those
Sorry, the word die,
you die making a difference. That's my die making a difference. When you die, those voters are not going to sit there and hold your hand. So why are you working so hard? I thought, well, it's not about them holding my hands. It's about when I die, I know I have made an impact and made a difference. It doesn't matter whether or not they appreciate it or not. It doesn't matter. But I know that I've lived my life with a purpose.
Yeah. So could I wrap it up into saying that in the leadership role, especially in politics, it's not that you don't have the opportunity to succeed in there. It's just some career paths are more suitable for men because maybe they're not as family or they have to be there for their family as much. It's more leaning towards power and whatever else. So hence, there's more men in there. Yeah. But as women, you can still have the same opportunity if you're willing to do the hard work. Is that?
Yeah, do the hard work. But those systems, those men will also ensure that they have to make it easier for women because they know.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise, if you're thinking about women, majority of us, who've got families, you need to actually ensure that the system is set up to support that.
Gotcha.
And especially in the corporate world, I know a lot of women actually, speaking to them, there is a big inequality within the top roles there.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's still going on.
And if the role requires, it doesn't suit with your lifestyle as a woman, you can't do it.
They'll flush
so
you
then
out.
you're basically eliminating.
But also the pay. Like, that's one thing that actually irritates me the most is when you're doing the same job as men in the same role, but men gets paid more than women. I just don't understand. Like, where does that come in even? And like Dai, you were saying another thing about, men supporting women so that we can, move into those areas.
Yes.
Do you find that is a challenge within itself at the moment? Because, men are protecting their territory too, I think.
Oh, of course. It's a whole different conversation.
We could go on all day about that, right?
So the power, the people do not want to relinquish their position of power.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not about relinquishing it, but it's about how do you manage your leadership pipeline so that you ensure that the future of your leadership team is actually quite diverse and quite actually inclusive.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that's a great wrap up. I mean, we got really deep, then we got inspiring, but now let's get hot.
Yeah. Being a little bit hot.
We always love to try new food.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, Liv, what have you got there?
Bomb ass chili oil. What a cool name.
Okay.
Or you call it
bomb ass.
Bomb ass chili.
So this is actually created, designed and invented by a good friend named Heidi Don, who actually also works at Outsourcing Angel. She's created a business out of her chili, her love for chili, and she's made this. And this goes well with everything. You know how you normally eat chili with noodles or with things. I want to get the girls to try the chili with
You do not
chili.
like
She doesn't like chili. She
Okay,
doesn't like
you don't
chili.
have to try because I don't want you to get explosive on the camera. But I tried that with that and it was just so amazing. So I want them to try it out.
Curry.
But I haven't tried.
Are you challenging me?
I'm saying have the curry.
She's challenging me.
Yes,
have the curry.
And well, I haven't tried the mango. So usually in Asia we always eat like quite green-ish
show them
mango.
the one.
Okay.
Actually, I don't think I've tried it.
This is like a hard mango.
No, I want to talk about the
bit
mango.
sour.
Sorry. Okay, I want to just quickly talk about the mango. Now, there's two types of green mango in case you go to the shop and you buy the wrong thing. Now, there's a lighter color one, which is lighter than this, and they're usually really sour, right? And they're usually used for salads and stuff like that. And then Dai kindly brought us these ones. That is the sweet Thai green mango. Now, so that's usually the color's a bit darker, and it can go a little bit darker than this, but they're sweet, right? Now, so that's a difference. So I've had friends that came to my house and ate the Thai sweet mango, went to shop, bought the other one, and came home and start swearing and go, what the hell is this?
But so if you go to, of course, my town of Cabramatta,
Yes.
where there are a lot of groceries, they will identify as sweet Thai green mangoes, or they have sour and sweet And then, so there's different levels of sweet and sour.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So,
never knew that
yeah,
about mangoes.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so this is actually.
Oh.
So
Stay
yes,
the
you
same
can
colour?
actually go
Yes,
online.
that's the
If
same
you're
colour.
in Australia, you can probably buy this right now. I'm not sure about overseas,
Oh my God.
but this
Oh
is
my God,
it's got
Lynn.
ginger, chili, everything. It goes well with everything.
I can smell it from
I'm
here.
salivating. I'm salivating.
I'm
My
not
ear
sure if I'm
is
salivating, but I'm just. Okay, this is going to
Okay.
explode me. Okay, Jen, maybe you just try small.
I'm just not going to. I'm gonna scrape the chili off. But oh
Are
my
you scared
God,
of chili?
Lynn, are you trying to make
okay,
me die here?
I'm gonna go for it because I'm not a big chili fan.
Yeah. Yeah, this chili goes well with everything.
I love the chili.
Oh my
It's
God.
spicy.
Okay.
Woo!
I'm hyperventilating.
It's
holding
not,
this.
it's not spicy.
Oh my god!
Oh.
It's got a kick. It's starting to got a kick.
Love to hear in the comments below if you are a chili lover or you cannot handle chili.
Oh
What's
my
the
God.
number?
A few moments later.
Do you react to it?
I didn't know you react to it.
I'm thinking
You challenged me.
A few minutes later.
Alright guys, that's a wrap up. I hope you've enjoyed our entertainment. I think you loved the part of the chili more than anything.
I think we might get more views for this.
Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed our video. If you have any comments or any questions, topics that you'd like us to cover, I'd love to hear in the comments below. But please don't forget to subscribe so you get notification when
please.
our videos are up. And we also have a community for you to join so you get exclusive access to us. And of course, follow us on Facebook as well. That's it, guys. It's Lynn Panetti.
Jennifer 𝐂𝐄𝐓.
Jackie Ashley.
And our beautiful Dai.
Bye.